For once again, just a reminder, tonight we shall be talking about body shaming, and the question we are asking is, how do you stand out in a society that wants you to conform to a perceived body standard? How do you stand out in a society that wants you to conform to a perceived body standard? And just a reminder again, with me in studio is Charlene Denus. She's a psychologist, and I also have Emmanuel Ventrick. He is a voice artist, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Now, for a very long time, body shaming has been a topic of interest, and campaigns have been launched and books written over. Yet, in the current era of social media and mainstream media, the issue continues to worsen. There appears to be an idealist idea of what a perfect body is, and this has made some people critical of their own bodies, pushing them to dangerous extremes in the hope of achieving the irrational standards. Take a look. Shaming can resort to short or long-term psychological issues if one is not strong-willed to withstand the pressure. Like many aspects of bullying, keyboard courage play a big role in those who make hurtful and derogatory comments towards others online. However, recent studies show body shaming comments can leave lasting impressions on those who receive them, not just mentally but physically. One study, although limited in its scope of participants, indicates that those with poor body image related to having been fat, shamed repeatedly actually have higher levels of SKKS, which can increase the risk of heart and metabolic diseases. Academic studies of media and its effects on body image indicate we live in an image-heavy society, online and in person. So how do you stand out in a society that wants you to conform to perceived body standard? Dereva Hillary for we will be now moving straight to our discussion, and I want to begin with you, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Have you ever been body shamed?
I feel like everyone has been body shamed in their lives. Yeah. I think everyone has gone through body shaming. You know, guys mistake body shaming for guys, for big people, for fat people. But if you're a skinny guy, I'm sure you've gone through your own share of body shaming. True. So everyone, each and every person has gone through body shaming. It just depends on how much you've gone through body shaming. Yeah, I think that's the difference.
Let me come to Charlene. Have you gone through this?
Yes, I have. Right. On two levels, actually. When I was much more slender, and also when I gained some weight. So when I was slender, it was more of, well, like, how coolly, you know. And when I gained some weight, everybody became, what are you eating? You know? So on some level, irrespective of how slender you are, how curvy you are, you have been body shamed more than once. And most of the time, it will come from either people who are just mean, or someone who actually cares about you, and they want to help you, or they're worried about you. They just don't know how to deliver it. Right. So when they deliver it, it comes out as body shaming.
Implementing, but they end up body shaming you. There are so many phrases that people use. You'll be like, if you are like ABCD, this would have been better for you. But in the end, they body shame you. Now, if still I would get from you people, I'll begin with you, Charlene. That time, let me begin with this, the current, the way you are, people have body shamed you. How have you dealt with that?
The one thing most people who've had to deal with body shaming, myself included, is you actually have to be very self-aware and self-confident. Because if you truly believe that the way you are is the best version of who you can possibly be, then it's easier to ignore what people say. But unfortunately, when something is repeated more than once and you keep on hearing it constantly, then you tend to start to believe it. And when that happens, it starts to affect your self-esteem. And then it's just a downhill road from there.
Yeah, true. Emmanuel, how is your case?
Yeah, so I think one of my most terrible experiences was way back when I was in high school. So I came in high school, I was very, very huge, but very short back then. So I remember I didn't find my trouser size in the entire week. I used to wear the trouser I came in from home. So it was really terrible. I remember I didn't even eat for the first 3 days in high school, because every time I get into the dining hall, things will literally stop, and then everyone will be like laughing at me. So it's really terrible. But back to what she was saying, it really requires a guy or a lady who's so super confident, so that you can tackle, able to be tackle the negative comments that come towards you.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this begs now the question: why do we body shame others, and how do we differentiate between a compliment and a body shaming statements? How do we now get to that, Nani, Shalene?
The first thing you need to look out for is, most of the time when people are describing your body, you first have to understand what body shaming is. It is something negative, a critic of how you look, something that is ideally meant to make you feel bad about yourself. And the moment the comments start coming in, they stop being more about your health and they start becoming more about your physical appearance, then it's body shaming. Because if somebody is coming to you with a genuine concern that, you're not healthy, you need to do something, you need to change your lifestyle so that you can live longer or live healthier, then that's actually not body shaming, that's concern. But if they come to you and they tell you, oh, no, the way you look right now, that's not right. Lose some weight so that you can be able to dress this way. Gain some weight so that you can be able to look like this. If they start to compare you with other people, then that's body shaming.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, many years ago, when I was growing up, we all believed in my generation, we all believed that people who are big, they are people who are wealthy, they can afford food, they are good like every. But now the people who are somehow slender, they are said to be healthy, and that's why you will see these fat people, they're like wewe kazi yako ni kukula. That's now the words that are used out here. So it's like someone who is not wealthy is not able to manage themselves. Still on that, you will find that we have now a new analogy, a new theory in town. Like for us men, a lady who is big, she's most preferred than a slender one. Now, where do we leave these slender ladies? Doesn't it mean that they are beautiful?
I think now is when people have started appreciating curvaceous ladies like Shalene or stuff. I think it's because the body shaming agenda has been pushed very much, so that guys have started appreciating themselves. I think if you're slender, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're fit, because there are big guys who can do some crazy things that even slender guys can do. And body shaming to our viewers doesn't necessarily mean doesn't come in terms of how big you are, how small you are, but guys have been body shamed for parts of their bodies, like Jay-Z on his lips, Diamond Platnumz on his lips. So it's up to you to use that body shaming, the negativity that comes to you, and make it a positive, make it have a positive impact in your life. So it's totally up to you.
I'm remembering a picture that was trending like a week ago of socialite Vera. She's big, everyone knows that. But when her boyfriend carried her, people said she's plastic, it's not heavy. So I feel like she was being insulted at some point. But still, how do you now get to live with accepting yourself? This is who you are. You have gotten to this point. Like now, in your case, Shalene, you're small, and now you're big, and people speak anything they want to. How now do you now go? Do you move on now with this your current situation?
Okay. So the first thing is you have to be psychologically strong. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to work on your self-esteem. The fact is, people are always going to have an opinion about how you look, what your body is like. And it doesn't matter whether it's today or tomorrow, someone is going to say something negative. And the only way you're going to survive it or let it just bounce off of you is if you constantly work at strengthening your confidence, strengthening your self-esteem. That way, anything they say, if you don't believe it, then it's not true. And you're able to live much more happier.
I was going through an article and I saw a lady who she used to be body shamed when she was in school, but her father encouraged her to work hard in school, that it will outdo the negative statements they hear. Now, let me get from you now, how do you get to deal with these body shaming statements that you hear from people?
I think it's, as she said, everyone has an opinion, and everyone will always have an opinion. So it boils down to your circle. I think your circle really helps a lot. If your close friends really don't give you that negativity, I think you have to focus on them mostly. But also you can use that negativity and it can fuel you to do great things in life. We've seen Diamond, now he's used that negativity to make a big star off of himself. So how you can do this, I think, is it's just getting a good circle of friends, a circle that's full of positivity. I think that's the only way you can be able to deal with that.
Now, Shalini, I want to come back to you with the same thing. Like, as a psychologist, someone has undergone body shamed. They've gotten to a point, even to themselves, they body shame themselves. They're like, kumbe I am this way. And they now get to dehumanize themselves and feel like they are not worth. Now, how would you encourage such a person?
Okay, the first thing, as I said, we'd have to do a lot of exercises. Because when someone is actually coming and they've gotten to that point, they've actually changed a lot about their lifestyle. Remember, when someone is body shamed, the first feeling you start to feel is shame. So if you start to believe that the thing that most people are pointing out is not pretty, is not beautiful, then you cover up. You cover up, it affects your confidence, how you speak to people. It affects your sense of adventure. If you wanted to do something, you're probably not going to do it because you actually don't believe that you're capable of doing something. Mostly because you're afraid that what if people see me doing it? You know, you're going to cover up on very many aspects because you don't want people to see the thing that you feel most ashamed about. And when that happens, the first step is to get you to accept yourself and learn how to love yourself again. So we'll start with that. If this progresses for too long, then, and it's actually a very big problem with the youth, where we are going to such extreme measures to look like a picture perfect person, with body sculpting, also constant diets, and it could lead to something we call anorexia, bulimia, because you'll probably starve yourself to meet a certain criteria, to meet a certain image, and then at some point you're just probably going to give up. Why are you fighting? Why are you working so hard to meet societal norms or perceptions, you know? And when that gets to that point, you're like, no, I'm just going to eat. And the more you eat, the bigger you become, the worse you feel. So it's more of a lot of sensitivity and focus on getting the person to love themselves as they are, build their confidence, and then now they're able to face every single day with all the opinions that are going to be thrown everywhere.
Yeah, because no matter how you are, you will always hear people, or you will always have people who will tell you this is how you should be. To you, Nani, Emmanuel, how do you think someone who is body shamed, or you know of someone who is body shamed, how can you encourage them?
I think the first thing is to accept yourself as you are. You know, there's no standard for beauty. I think beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So you can't tell me this is beautiful, this is not beautiful. I mean, what might be beautiful to you might not be beautiful to me. So the first step is always accept yourself as you are, and then guys are gonna ride off that energy that you give. If you find yourself ugly, I'm sure guys are gonna tell you that you're ugly. But if you're not looking very good, and then you keep on like saying you still look beautiful, and you tell people I'm beautiful, I think guys will ride off of that. So believe in yourself, and then just accept yourself as you are, and then everything else will follow. I
want to go back a little bit. We have seen the socialites that are here. Every one of them is big. So I'm kind of, what are we doing to these other kind of people? We've seen them bleach. We've seen them take pills or whatever they do for them to become big. Now look at someone who feels like, I would love to be this beautiful, but I don't have the resources to make me beautiful as they are. Now such a person, they may end up feeling bad about themselves. They would hate themselves, but still, how would you now tell this kind of a person, you don't have to be so and so? Now, how do you go through it? Because you could find it's your sister or it's your brother who wants to get six-pack or build muscles. You know, body shaming is not just limited to being small or something. Even being that attractive person costs for a lot. How do you tell them, Shellen?
Okay, I'll start with the society first. What are we doing? Be your brother's keeper. You see, the reason most people are pushed to such lengths to alter how they look, to bleach their skin, to get bigger body parts, for example, it's because someone went and told them, you know what? You need to look better. And the only way you're going to look better is if you alter yourself in A, B, or C. So this is where society actually comes in. We have to adopt something that we call body positivity, where you actually accept people for who they are. The fact is, right now, even young women are actually going out looking for creams. Why? Because we don't want that wrinkle. But wrinkle is part of old age. We're all going to grow old. We're all going to wrinkle. Exactly. But we don't want that because society has come to a point where it's telling us, you know what, if you have wrinkles, you don't look good. You know, if you don't meet picture perfect quality, you don't look good. So question to us as people, as a society, how exactly have we led or facilitated or, you know, motivated most people in the society to feel like it's okay to go and change the way you look just to fit in?
Emmanuel, before you respond to how the society, I want you to answer me as a boy child. Do you think we are contributing to our ladies for them to go for those things that will make them big and light-skinned?
I think, sadly, yes. I think we play a big part in how ladies feel. Because nowadays, being thick is what attractive, I think. So I think we have a big part to play in what the ladies are going through, but also it also boils down to the individual herself. I think you can't ride off of the societal perception of what beauty is. Just believe in yourself, that think that you're beautiful, and think you're gonna live long. I mean,
true. You do.
Just to comment on what he said, I'm sorry. Like I said before, you could believe in yourself. But if you hear something more than once on a constant, then you start to question, like, why is everybody constantly telling me this? So you find that before somebody actually goes and alters themselves or does something to change their appearance, before they were fine. Because before all these creams came along, when you were still probably in high school, you were not using all these things. You started using them after. When you started becoming more aware of what society deems as beautiful, you know? So as much as we would prefer to ignore what society says, sometimes we have to acknowledge that what they say, we tend to take to heart and will action.
Very true, very true. We are running out of time, and I want us to answer now our questions. Now, it is the reality, it is happening. And very many people have been conformed to what the society wants. Now, how do I stand out as a person? How do I stand out really? This is me, I'll do me, the rest will adjust. Let me begin with you, Emmanuel.
I think it boils down to, how confident you are. I mean, I think my strongest asset is my confidence. And it all boils down to how confident you are. And body shaming is sadly not always a negative thing. You can use it to as momentum to actually change yourself. You know, sometimes when guys are body shaming you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be confident. It might be a health hazard to you. So you need to listen to how what they're saying makes sense. Does it make sense? If it makes sense, I think you have to work on it.
All right. As we finish up, our psychologist.
I would say this. Self-motivation, affirmations. If you believe something, then you live by it. So if you wake up every morning and you tell yourself, you know what, I'm beautiful, then you'll believe that you're beautiful. And when those negative comments come, they'll just bounce off of you. So work on yourself. Build your confidence, build your esteem, you know, work on your self-worth, because at the end of the day, you are the only stronghold you have. You may have a support system that's going to hold you up, but when you're down, they may try to bring you up, but if you're not ready, you'll still stay down. So you're the only person who can make sure that you live your best possible life. And the only way to do that is to strengthen yourself. Work on your self-esteem again, work on your confidence, work on your self-worth.
All right, many things. I don't want to change anything. You've talked of confidence and believing in yourself and living by that back home. Thank you so much. They have been my guest, Emmanuel Ventrick. He is a voice artist, and Shelin Denus, she is a psychologist. Many thanks for keeping it Y254. My name is Dereva Hilawi. Have yourself a good night.